Hey guys, thanks for stopping by to watch another episode here at alliseeisW. In today's video, I'd like to share with you the latest updates with Bitcoin. We'll go through updates with strategy MSTR's highlights with its Q2 earnings update, as well as going through technical analysis of Bitcoin and strategy. How high can Bitcoin and MSTR go? Even with today's sudden hiccup with Bitcoin price having a pullback. What does this mean in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead? Now, if you're new to this channel, first off, I would really appreciate you hitting the like and subscribing for more related content and stay until the end where I will be playing the latest updates from Saylor with today's earnings report. Let's begin, guys. Trending Bitcoin posts. Are you ready for 250,000 Bitcoin? We see this Wall Street psychology of the market cycle. Here in July, it's saying, we're in that realm of optimism, August, belief, September, October. We may very well, like what, this visual is saying is like, 250,000. I'm thinking somewhere around that sweet spot of 180, 220,000. Who knows? We may very well get up to 250K. But what happens after that? Only time will tell. It's hard to predict, when that, top point will come. But I'm very bullish. We will get that moment where we will reach that top point. Plan B poses Bitcoin relative strength index is almost 75, represented in the orange dots. In this bull market, we will see several months with RSI 80 plus red dots like back in 2021, 2017, 2013, and 2011. When we look at, this halving event that took place last year in April, since then we haven't had any red dots. Red dots meaning we have, overbought situation, the strength of Bitcoin is strong, but we haven't even seen that yet. So it may correlate. Once we get those red dots in place, Bitcoin price may very well get to that 200, $250,000 just based on every halving event and how we usually get these monthly RSIs of 80 plus. Here's an interesting post. MSTR earnings are out. We had revenue of $114 million. It was projected of $112 million. Earnings per share dominated, $32.60 per share. I mean, absolutely crushed it. I mean, here's the thing though, it's kind of like, why is it that the aftermarket, price is down when earnings per share significantly outpace, the estimated earnings per share? I personally think that all of this really was attributed to just Bitcoin, falling down, just having a sudden hiccup, and that really caused, market turmoil. We're seeing that across the board as well, even with Wall Street, other stocks similar to Amazon as well. But here's, the highlight from strategy. They posted record Q2 2025 results in shares, with their guidance from 2025. So Q2 results, they had $14 billion operating income, $10 billion net income with $32.60 earnings per share. I mean, their overall, operating income, $34 billion, $24 billion net income for 2025 earnings, and $80 earnings per share. Their, 2025 Bitcoin guidance with 30% Bitcoin yield, as well as $20 billion of Bitcoin, gain. That's just significant. Just put that into context. All of this, attributed to the FASB fair value accounting change as of January 2025. This really puts strategy at the forefront with its criteria being met for potential S&P inclusion. Before we listen to Saylor and his updates, let's just take a look at technicals of Bitcoin. I mean, we saw this, pullback from like 118,000 during the market, and then it dropped all the way down to 114,000. That really caused the aftermarkets to shake up, even with MSTR's price, going down, even though they provided solid, revenue, net operating income, and earnings per share. All of that was outperformance because of Bitcoin's price going up from Q1 to Q2. I mean, with their HODL amount, that's just huge. That just shows the amount of unrealized gains under EBITDA accounting rules. And where we are right now, Bitcoin at 115,737. It'll be interesting to see whether we're going to see Bitcoin climb back up, or are we going to see, more turmoil. It'll be interesting to see how markets open up tomorrow. But right now, it's just a matter of wait and see to see, if we have the bulls in favor pushing up the price, or will the bears take action. But I do think that as we head towards later today, including, market opening, we may very well have price get back up at least at a minimum to 117,000. MSTR's technical analysis, we're looking at it on the weekly chart. What are we seeing? Relative strength is fairly stable at 58. MACD, we haven't really seen much movement there, and that's attributed to the price action of MSTR. It's been just hovering in this cup and handle formation. We got to that 460. It had a slight pullback, getting below 400 for 490. Now, in the current price range, we're around 398. It'll be interesting to see how MSTR will perform, but I do think there's upside. MSTR, I'm very bullish that just based on the fundamentals and the technicals, I have price action somewhere around that, that $1,000 range as we head towards the year 2025. We've seen how bullish this stock had gone at one point last year, going 800%, run up top to 550, drop back to 220. And it's just a matter of time when we see that next, leg up where we will see that J-shaped perspective. So, hold on tight, remain patient, even though today was such an anomalous day where, we had solid financial data and then all of a sudden the share price is just at a halt. No worries on that. Just think of it as a sudden hiccup with Bitcoin price. We will see bullish days coming. 2025 is going to be very bullish with Bitcoin expected to break out. Strategy will follow. With that, let's listen to Saylor.
Thank you, Andrew. And I want to thank everybody for being with me today. So I thought I'd start with a macro overview of the Bitcoin universe. And the first thing that I'll note is we have a very supportive White House, and that started with the establishment of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, but it continues across the board. Next. As you can see, we have 12 cabinet members in this administration that are all pro-Bitcoin. A year ago, we had one cabinet member who was neutral and 11 that were indifferent or uninterested and certainly not supportive. So this is a major change in the political landscape. Yesterday, the White House released a crypto policy report. It's about 150 pages long. I did a scan. I'm sure some of you have done a scan. The takeaway is that this administration is going to be very enthusiastic in its support of the entire crypto industry and the Bitcoin ecosystem. And in particular, some of the things they're doing include work in the area of taxation to cure unfair tax treatments of digital assets, and that includes relief for de minimis digital asset transfers like de minimis Bitcoin payments, and it also includes guidance that digital assets should not be included when calculating CAMT unrealized capital gains taxes or when calculating CAMT minimum taxes. And so we have the support of the administration on this, and that was made very precise in writing just yesterday, and this is an excerpt of it. I think this is just very positive for the entire crypto industry and very positive for Bitcoin, and of course it's very positive for the hundreds of companies that are starting to put crypto assets on their balance sheet. Wall Street's embraced Bitcoin. We've now got 80 ETFs launched, $170 billion of value flowing into these ETFs. These continue to pick up steam, and they're growing more powerful day by day. Public companies are capitalizing on Bitcoin. This is an extraordinary move. And of course, we're seeing these every day. There's a new announcement, whether it's coming from a pure Bitcoin company or whether it's coming from a hybrid or just a random new entrant. But we've now got 950,000 Bitcoin that have been acquired by 160 different listed companies. And we look at the trend. We were the first in 2020. There were 2 at the end of the year. Then there were 33, 39, 43. There were 64 last year. And of course, as you look at this trend right now, 160 when we're not even to the end of 2025 is extraordinary. So we're in a hyper growth or hyper adoption phase for Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. Companies are racing to get into the Bitcoin 100. You can see there's even competition to track the Bitcoin 100 right now. And generally, any given week, there are 20 or more companies that are acquiring more Bitcoin. Just a few minutes ago, Coinbase announced that they acquired more Bitcoin this quarter, thousands of Bitcoin. So I see very positive trends here. And each of these companies could, in theory, acquire just as much Bitcoin or attempt to acquire just as much Bitcoin in a dollar value as we have acquired. Obviously, they won't get 3% of the Bitcoin supply, but you can imagine what happens when 100 companies are all competing to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. The analysts are all starting to cover and track Bitcoin, and they have outlooks for Bitcoin. So if you're going to cover the 160 Bitcoin companies that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, you're going to have to form an opinion about Bitcoin. And so you can see that the average end of the year price forecast of an equity analyst covering MSTR is 168,000. And so keep that in mind, 168,000 by the end of the year. That's the consensus of the analyst community that tracks our stock right now. Technology investors are looking for the next great thing. And everybody, the consensus trade is AI. Everybody knows AI is the next thing. But now they're starting to realize that Bitcoin is also the next thing. And it's being lumped as a technology transformation and a digital disruption. This is really positive because this is going to draw lots of Magnificent Seven investors into our space. Financial regulators are embracing Bitcoin. You see a new positive Bitcoin announcement just about every other day now from all parts of the government. Just a few days ago, the SEC released a memo allowing in-kind creation and redemption of Bitcoin ETFs. This is a huge deal. This is going to accelerate the development of the industry. They also loosened restrictions on options trading of Bitcoin ETFs. Paul Atkins just gave a speech and made a number of comments about the digital assets industry. It's clear that he's very supportive of innovation, very supportive of the crypto economy, very supportive of your right to self-custody. And this is a welcome development from the SEC. Another welcome development is the guidance that came from William Pulte to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, where he said they should prepare their businesses to count cryptocurrency as an asset in a mortgage. This is going to accelerate the institutional adoption of Bitcoin as collateral in the banking industry. There could be no more legitimate driver of the collateralization of credit with Bitcoin than the U.S. Federal Housing Authority. Capitol Hill is embracing Bitcoin. There are 3 bills. One of them, the Genius Act, has already been passed. Clarity is coming in September, and the Bitcoin Act allows for the government to acquire 1 million Bitcoin. These are picking up momentum. This is a positive development. U.S. states are also embracing Bitcoin. We've now got 3 strategic Bitcoin reserves, including one in Texas just recently that was funded with $10 million. So this is a trend that's growing. International governments are enthusiastic about Bitcoin, and we're seeing this everywhere in the world with politicians in Ireland, in the UK, in Pakistan, in UAE, in Ukraine, etc. All of them making pro-Bitcoin moves.
So there you heard it from Saylor, providing to you elements from a macro scale updates. We have institutional analysts providing forecasts of Bitcoin at 168,000 by 2025. You heard it from Saylor. Even though we saw positive financial results today and we saw, the price not really moving up or down, this was all just attributed to, Bitcoin price having a slight pullback. And again, this was from the clarity that, Federal Jerome Powell gave yesterday, where he was just basically saying that we need more data. So he's just taking longer, not really going through with Trump's proposal to bring down the rate cuts. But tomorrow will be interesting, with the jobs report numbers as well as any upcoming updates with tariff news. So remain strong, even though today was a day where we had a sudden hiccup. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for stopping by, guys.